Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you all for tuning in. Kyle, my friend, good to see you.
It's good to be here.
Good to see you yet again.
Oh, I'm so excited about this.
Yeah. Kyle ran up on me and Jake yesterday, 72nd Street Station.
Well, you know what? I was talking to you about this earlier. The funny thing is, I was thinking about you and Jake prior to about 48 hours of our encounter, where I saw you guys in your Front Me to Friday podcast. And
Right.
I was like, how hilarious would that be if I just like showed up? Because, let me preface, y'all were at Union Square like an hour before I went through.
Yeah.
Or after. Like I was on my way to work. And I'm like, it would be lovely if I just ran into these two fools and showed up and was like, hey, listen, did you know that, pickles are just radiated cucumbers?
Yes.
See you later.
Yeah.
And just left. And lo and behold, I'm going to work and I see these two gentlemen on the street. And he's like, hey, Kyle, come over here. And I'm like, shit, what's going on? How weird can I get for a moment?
Right.
So, yeah, no, it's good to be back. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm actually really excited.
Yeah, for sure. And you said something very important yesterday that we need to bring to attention here and to everybody.
Oh, this is about birds.
Yes.
Okay, so I
This
need
is
to
important.
Yeah, I need to apologize ahead of time to the bird enthusiasts of the world and to my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because on my way out the door today, she was like, "Hey, have fun. Don't say anything weird, and please don't talk about birds. Bye." And I'm like,
Off to a good start.
I don't want to disappoint this woman.
Yeah.
But because I love you very much, I have to let everybody know that birds aren't real.
Yes.
More so pigeons.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I kind of dropped some knowledge on you yesterday.
Yeah, and you just ran off
Just
on
crows and pigeons, or all birds?
Well,
like bald
you know,
eagles
you know what? I think it kind of goes. Well, crows are smart.
Crows are very
Crows
smart.
are way too smart to be government made. That's just my opinion.
You think so?
Absolutely, because I think crows are extremely intelligent. You can, like, if a crow shows up on your front porch, and if you leave it like a little candy or a piece of bacon, it will know that, oh, this person has gifts.
Yeah,
Like
it'll come back.
They'll come back.
Yeah.
And if you keep doing it, they'll go out and tell the rest of the crow echelon, and they'll show up. And so you could, in theory, have a murder of crows at your beck and call. Like, they will consider you a friend.
And there goes the neighborhood after that.
Now
It's not because they have black feathers.
no, I want them to, like, commit petty crime for me. That's what I want to do.
No, but they are. They're fucking geniuses. They remember your face.
I'm starting to see why she didn't want him to talk about birds.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. It's just like I have to. This is a safe space,
Keep
right?
going,
I
keep
have
going.
to get it out.
Keep going.
Yes.
I can't talk about this in Queens.
No,
Brooklyn,
they don't want to hear it.
Now pigeons. Now what I said to you was, now the science. I read a I forget what website I read this on, because so it must.
We'll
be
find
real.
it. We'll find it.
Okay. So they're in Mexico.
Okay.
There were Mexican scientists in some lab and some engineers were
Can't be the smartest.
well, you know what? Check this out. Maybe they are. Because it literally, the tagline was, Mexican scientists are giving birds a second chance at life by, like, resurrecting them from the dead. And they're giving them their second purpose is they are turning them into drones.
Surveillance drones?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, God, like, let me just reinforce the fact about this. So the U.S. government did this, in the 70s?
Okay.
60s, their spy program. We know about this.
Sure.
Don't we know about this?
More or less. Yeah. Well, we read that book.
We have.
The CIA book. We can talk about that, too.
Yeah, we both have.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
They turned birds into
we find
spy
something?
drones.
I mean, I found a few things.
Yeah.
But
Did you find
so far, only the state of New Mexico, scientists in the state of New Mexico, is giving dead birds a new life. with an
that's close. That's
okay,
probably it.
okay. Maybe
New Mexico.
maybe I blacked out while
The one
reading
below
it.
that is them trying to resurrect a dodo bird.
I've seen that one. I think that one actually happened.
Great.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
A dodo bird.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize to Mexico. Maybe I was giving them too much credit. But
Yeah. You don't need to apologize to them.
well, I'm sorry. Like I was so
just some
excited
genius
to be
in Santa
like,
Fe.
"Hey, told you guys, not real. It was
Yeah,
actually New Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
not Mexico."
Yeah.
Like-
No, that's fair. I mean, New Mexico is, of course, historically known to have like alien shit,
Right.
alien testing grounds and nuke testing grounds and all
Right.
that shit. So New Mexico, it makes sense that they'd be all right. Dead birds get new life. New Mexico researchers develop taxidermy bird drones.
That's my favorite metal band.
A team at the New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology in the Socorro is taking birds that have been preserved through taxidermy and converting them into drones in order to study flight. That's the only reason they're doing it, I'm sure.
Okay, so what's the purpose of the bird in that scenario? Like, why wouldn't you just have the drone?
Right, you could just make a drone. Why do they need like a bird
A
skin
shell.
suit?
Or unless you wanted to spy on the populace.
Exactly. See, that's the right question to
I
ask.
brought
Billy.
my aluminum foil hat over here.
No, this is good. Taxidermy bird drones currently being tested in a purpose-built cage at the university can be used to understand better the formation of flight patterns and flocks, and to make sure that people
Look at the photo. Look at this. Look at this.
It doesn't look real
at
at
this cosmic horror nightmare fuel of a bird. Like you can see the fear on its face, where it's like please kill me.
Yeah. Here's the thing. They're going to make those look a lot better at some point. It's just like
Yeah.
anything else.
Oh, absolutely.
The first telephone, that fucking crank, you hold it up to your ear, and
Right.
now we just have a black. But that bird, that drone bird, one day is going to be.
That's hilarious. That's
You won't be able to
absolutely
tell.
Hilarious. Look at the eyes. Oh, that's great.
And that's from rotors too, rotors, whatever the.
So
fuck.
it's-
so it's legit.
So that's legit.
It's
See,
legit.
I wasn't lying, guys.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
I wasn't lying. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of, right before we even started,
Yeah.
you had the bubble hungry bubbles in your stomach. We could hear
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
Way to put me on blast, man.
Because I brought you guys a gift.
Okay, we got a
I
gift.
brought you both gifts.
First gift.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So this is my first time on a podcast, so I want to make it very lovely and memorable.
Sure.
So this is my my gift to you two. New York's finest bacon, egg, and cheese.
Wow.
Okay.
That is like perfect.
Some
Let me take
BEC.
one of those.
I know we're hungry. We're
Hell yeah.
artists. We're always starving.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, hell yeah. Why not? I got apple juice because this is for me.
Apple juice. Oh, please. That's the good apple
This
juice.
is my favorite juice of the juices.
Yeah.
So manzana is also one of my favorite Spanish words to say.
Manzana.
Next to
Zapatos.
well, close.
Pupitre.
I would say cuchara
Cuchara.
and pepino. So
Okay.
apple spoon cucumber.
Yeah. All works together. That's the best
It's my favorite.
apple juice.
This is the best. It was $4. So
Yeah.
it has to be the best.
Yeah.
And then Tony,
Families died for that apple juice to be made.
Tony, this is for you.
Okay.
This is I'm just
Monster
doing product
koozie.
placement, so I hope Monster sponsors you. This is a Monster koozie.
This is
That's
fantastic.
the official energy drink of the Kyles.
Of the Kyles and of the Smoking Simian pot. You guys ever hear of Monster Energy? It's this small time energy drink company.
Yeah, very very small.
Yeah.
So one day we hope they have their stock shares at $400 a share. So,
Yeah.
and you're part of it.
Yeah,
So-
that would be nice.
That's for you guys.
Thank
you very
That's
much.
Very
You're very
nice.
welcome.
Yeah, hell of a. That's like the perfect gift to give someone who's fucking hungry. It's like you read his mind.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah. Now another thing I wanted to bring up in the same vein of this conspiratorial, the way we're starting this episode.
yeah, it's great.
You're familiar with Ryan Garcia, the boxer?
Yeah.
He's like the one that goes viral for punching really fast with his eyes closed.
Yes. Yes, I saw him. I read something online where he was yelling about Sean Strickland or Jake Paul.
Yes, probably both of them.
Probably both.
Probably both
Yeah.
of them. Yeah. Well, he's supposed to be fighting soon. He's fighting Gervonta Davis soon.
Great.
Which should be fun. But
April 20th.
April 20th, he was on Spaces on X. So Twitter, X, whatever the fuck you want to call
Got
it. They have like a thing called Spaces where you can invite people and there's like one or two moderators and they talk and everyone else listens. It's like a live, kind of like what we're doing.
Okay.
So Andrew Tate opened up a Spaces because Ryan Garcia said that the elites tied him up and made him watch children get fucked.
Oh no.
Or compromised or whatever.
Yeah.
Now,
While he was in Romanian prison?
no. This isn't Andrew Tate saying this. Ryan Garcia is saying.
Ryan Garcia said this.
And it makes me wonder, why would they go after a boxer?
Yeah.
A young kid who's a boxer who has relatively no power at all.
Yeah.
Right? He's just a famous boxer.
He's filthy rich.
He's filthy rich, definitely. But at the same time, why would he just make that up?
Right.
And I mean, it's a strange. Can we pull up that?
I'm just trying to think. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, because he brought up, he's like, Bohemian Grove is a real thing, which is a real thing.
Which is a real
Which
thing.
is real.
Which is absolutely real.
But it's different than what he's talking about.
He's.
So what exactly should I search to find this?
I mean,
Ryan Garcia, Andrew Tate, Spaces, I guess, Twitter Spaces.
that's just so strange.
And see what pops up.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
I'm more interested with him talking about Bohemian Grove
Bohemian,
because that's
yeah,
wild. They're playing dress up and make believe.
That's a real one.
And worshiping an owl effigy.
Yeah.
And dressing up as wizards.
Yeah.
And doing
And fucking each other, I think.
Right. It's like eyes
All the
wide shut.
guys are
party.
fucking each other.
Yeah. Everybody.
Yeah.
All
'Cause
of them.
ladies aren't allowed.
No, it's just
No.
it's just the elite men of scientists, politicians,
Yeah.
artists, musicians, actors.
Skull and Bones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what a great camp out.
Yeah,
Campsite.
yeah.
You
Yeah, right.
Eat, drink, be merry, and just run around naked and
fuck.
cover yourself in,
Yeah.
in pig's blood.
It's definitely good if you're part of a torturous cabal that
Right.
runs the world.
Oh,
yeah,
of course.
It's
It would be really rough to stumble upon if you were walking through the woods by yourself.
Oh, man.
Or just
I think this is
I
what
think
we're
it's someplace you can go to during the day even.
You're out hunting and you're like, fuck, this is why is Mitch McConnell getting fucked in his ass?
Does he deserve it? Probably.
All right, so what is this? Why is there an alien? Right? Bohemian Grove elites abducted him.
Wait, Ryan claims he has a photo of real alien.
Whoa.
Okay.
This guy, he hasn't even fought long enough to have CTE-like problems. He hasn't. Just pull that mic a little closer toward you if you're sitting back there.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
I? No.
You can sit back. Just pull it back with you.
Pull it back.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Get it wherever you want.
so this guy Ryan, God, I don't like him already. I want to fight him. If he's listening, if he stumbles upon this podcast at all,
Yeah.
Ryan, listen. I challenge you to bare knuckle fight here.
Kyle, I love you, but you're probably gonna lose that.
That's fine. At least I get some clout, and then maybe enough money to where elites could tie me
Abduct
down,
you.
or abduct me.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah,
can
yeah.
get the real answers. Because if you have a photo of an alien, where is it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Is it that Mexican photo? His last name is
the
Garcia.
one that was made out of paper mache that we
Papier-mâché.
saw on the Mexican scientists.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
We're like, we have the photo we have a body of the alien.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is the body. And it looked like it was made at an 8th grade art class.
It looked like Eraserhead. You ever watched the movie
Yes.
Eraserhead? That
It
nasty
looked like Eraserhead.
baby thing?
Yes.
Yeah,
but a little smaller. And I'm
Yeah.
like, cool. But where is it? And if Ryan has a photo, he's compromised.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hear about him again.
Well, I'll say this. Jake Paul just fought an Uber driver. Like a
I saw
legitimate Uber driver.
Yeah.
So you're odd. I mean, it could, you could fight Ryan Garcia.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm maybe 1 degree of separation away from making it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
I read that he was a Domino's delivery driver.
He has something along those lines.
Cool.
And then
either way, he's a working man,
Yeah,
respectable human being. God love you for dealing with the bowels of humanity in terms of hospitality in any fathom
Right.
or fashion. And he got the best payday ever.
oh my God.
Cool. Of course, you got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah,
How much
you're
she paid
supposed
you?
to.
Great.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's only one
Do you
time.
want to read a little bit about his claim?
Yeah, let's see what he says. Can we zoom in a little bit? Ryan Garcia has been making some of the wildest accusations on Tuesday ever since that mysterious video of his alleged death was published on. So I didn't know about that either. But at this point, there is no way to know for sure if what he claims is real or if he simply lost the plot. He wrote that he had a picture of a real alien, alerted the entire UFO community. Everyone wanted him to post, blah, 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 blah. Of course, he's not going to post it.
Great.
Folks
Yeah,
thought
of
he
course.
was hacked, and then he went on an X space with Andrew Tate's request. That's when Ryan Garcia said concerning the elites and Bohemian Grove.
See, this is also kind of what happens when
Yeah.
you dive down too much of a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Kind of go crazy. Like I will go absolutely bananas with conspiracy theories because they're fun.
They're fun.
It's good fight promo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Think about PR.
People talking
Right?
about it.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good angle.
Sell some pay-per-views.
Say something outlandish.
Yes.
And like, hey, I got a fight coming up in 3 months.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Okay, I respect.
And
it
he's
a
going to
little
get knocked the fuck out in that fight. Just saying. I think he's going to lose.
more. Probably. I respect that angle. He's taking a little more. I still want to fight you, Ryan.
Yeah.
So
Ryan, next time you're in New York.
next time you ever like pass through Astoria, Queens,
Yeah.
come through. I'll buy you a nice cup of Greek coffee.
Oh.
We'll get a baguette. Like
Yeah.
I'll show you around this great Thai place.
Yep.
And then I'll pummel you to death with a sock full of golf balls.
Like Full Metal Jacket.
Oh my god!
The soap and the
some
socks.
soap. I'm gonna go buy some Dove soap bars for you. Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're a nice guy.
All right, keep going because he says some crazy shit.
Oh, there's some more? Okay. So let me see. Ryan Garcia was asked if he could prove what he said. Ryan revealed that he has videos of what happened, and for some reason he claimed Bohemian Grove exists. Many won't understand what that means, but there are those who do, and there are unconfirmed claims about this place. Ryan Garcia left the space and started making even more concerning accusations. That's where people started fearing for his life or well-being.
Right. Yeah, of course. We all. But here's the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's making accusations on claims that we already know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like we know it exists.
It already exists. We already know that.
But it's not
Well, him
believable
saying
that
he has
they...
videos of it's
Right.
another-
Oh, a whole different thing. Now.
Yeah.
At Bohemian. Okay.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, it's weird. Are the people going to get behind me or let them kill me? That's the real... Of course they're going to let them kill you. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? They killed a president. Do you understand that? If they wanted to kill you, you'd be dead.
Yeah, it'd be very easy.
Yeah.
It would be a plane crash or a car crash or poisoning of some sort, or
Yeah.
one day your house gets raided and there's like 25 terabytes of child pornography on your computer. That's how they get you.
Or you fall out of a hotel balcony. You fall.
Right.
You know,
Should I
everybody
play-
falls.
Should I play whatever video this is?
Yeah, let's see. That is kind of what I wanted to hear. Let's see what he says.
Bro, I don't give a fuck, bro. They made me watch little kids get raped. I don't give a fuck anymore.
He don't give a fuck.
I don't.
I watched it. I didn't give a fuck.
Bro, they fucking took me to the fucking woods, bro, and they fucking tied. I'm not fucking
He sounds
joking,
drunk.
bro. I have fucking proof, bro. I don't give a fuck. Bro, I fucking will show you every fucking video you could ever fucking believe. Bohemian
That's- I don't buy it.
They fucking tied me down and they made me fucking watch, dog.
Yeah.
I absolutely don't give a fuck anymore.
Is he in it?
Yes, I fucking lost it. They're raping little kids.
Because I want to take us all, so let's go. All right. He doesn't want to take us
All right.
Okay.
This is enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Who sent him out there? Bernard Hopkins? Bernard Hopkins is like his promoter.
For a second, it says GNN, and I thought CNN was in that room, and I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, imagine.
They're listening.
Sanjay Gupta is just
Oh my
like,
God. Ryan, I hope
going
you're
on?
okay. I hope you're okay, Ryan.
They did
gonna be
not
all
rape him.
he's going to be okay. Enough about that. Okay.
So this is a great intro. This is
great.
Great. I'm totally relaxed now. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
See, we're good to go.
Got a
So,
little juice, a little bit of
yeah.
juice in me. Now we're good.
right. So you're working on a book still. You're
I
close,
am.
though. Are you close?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm working on a book.
Yeah.
Which is one of the main reasons why you asked me on. Which
yeah.
is very kind of
It
you.
was
Is
the
it about
birds,
birds?
But the book.
What kind of birds in this book?
There are birds in the first like 50 pages. I guess.
Nice.
So, okay, this is quite the rabbit hole to jump down myself. So, I am writing a book I've been working on for the past, I would say almost 2 years now. This would be my first novel. I've written a dozen short stories and several screenplays before, and I decided to take something in a different route. I'll give you a little background on it. So I had this idea come to me during COVID when we first had the first 9 months of quarantine. At the time period where everyone was like, well, I'm unemployed. I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life at this point. I'm getting money from the government. Cool. But now, like, the world's over. Mm-hmm. And as an artist, as an actor, there was nothing to do.
Yeah.
So we're all afraid to go outside and breathe the air. So we're staying inside and trying to create things. So I started to write a lot more. And I had this idea about, I always started this idea about a man getting struck by lightning and then surviving it somehow. Mm-hmm. And then somehow developing like a little bit of, otherworldly powers, just a little bit. And so I was brooding and breeding this idea over the course of 9 months, and I decided to turn it into, or attempt to make it into, a comic book or a graphic novel.
Right.
And I had about 50 pages of it, and I joined a comic book writers, artist group on Facebook, and found a couple independent artists that drew me several designs of the characters, different panels, colorists, letterers, everything. And then I realized that this is very expensive. Like, I can't fund this myself.
Right.
Like, I don't have $6,000 to
A lot more
shell out.
moving parts than just like a
Oh
a
yeah,
novel.
there were so many moving parts, and like I like respect to everybody who does it. Like I personally now I understand why everybody's like, here's my GoFundMe, here's my Kickstarter, please help. It costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because each person, there's not just one person who does a character design, the panel, letterer, colorists, cover art.
Right.
Those are each individual people who are hireable.
Yeah. That makes sense because you don't need all that obviously for a written a normal book.
Well, at first, I was like, I can't do that. So
Yeah.
I would like to do that in time because I write as I see it playing out in my mind.
Gotcha.
And so I'm like, let me change the prose of it and do it in a novel format. And so I just started writing it, and I had, little did I know, like a couple months later, I had about 150 pages of something. And so from that point on, I was like, okay, now I have something of substance that I really like. So let's expand on this idea. And I'm in this. It's funny. I'm gonna connect dots, and all these little circles are gonna come back.
Yeah,
in this
please do.
conversation. So the monster koozie that I gave you, when I say it's the drink of the Kyles, it's fun because it is. This is all gonna connect to the story. I am part of a Facebook group called the Council of Kyle. And at first there were about 8,000 of us. And Facebook shut us all down because I guess they thought we were terrorists.
You got too powerful.
We were getting big. We were like, our memes were sketchy.
Yeah.
Like, we kept getting, like, posts kept getting taken down.
It was very beer hole.
Oh my God. Oh, it's so, like, the characters in there are fantastic.
Yeah,
you
I
get
bet.
vetted hard to make sure, like, you're a Kyle.
You're a legit Kyle.
Uh-huh. But through that group, I have several Facebook, like, messenger chat groups.
Okay.
One of them is the BDK. Now, that is the Black Delegation of Kyles. And they're all men of color.
How'd you get in that?
I got invited.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's my cookout card.
Gotcha.
They told me.
Yeah.
They invite Kyle Russell. God love you. Shout out. You're my best friend. He gave me my my cookout pass, as they told me.
Sure.
And there's only a few of us that are in there. Us whites.
What do you bring to the cookout?
I bring the drinks.
Okay.
There you go.
Because I work in a bar.
Yes.
So I show them all my creations.
Old fashions.
100%.
Yeah.
And I'm always like
This-
showing them
this
my
guy
fun
knows
stuff.
how to make a drink.
And they're like, so Kyle Alverson, you're the grill master. He knows he's a smoke, like his master smoker.
Gotcha.
Makes smokes his own meat, and I bring the drinks. So, they're huge into like anime and superhero and sci-fi and everything that I'm also into.
Right.
And I'm bouncing ideas off of these guys. I'm like, should the story? What do you think? What avenue works? What doesn't? And so what ended up being a story just about the central one character, and actually split into 4 to make the story more of like a trilogy and more interesting. So there are 3 other characters in the story. So let me just like break down the story if that works.
Sure.
So there's this man. His name is Kyle, and the book is a bit it's almost kind of like, how do you say, biographical?
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You input
Some of it's about you, kind of.
Autobiography.
Kyle's about you.
Yes, yeah. There is slices of truth that happen in the story that have happened in real life. People's in places and names have been changed for safety and all that. But so the premise is Kyle is kind of at the end of his rope, doesn't know what to do with himself. He in turn loses his job. His girlfriend leaves him. And he can't make ends meet. And so as a man in like, you're reaching, after 25 to 35, you're like, if I feel like I have no direction, it can be a dangerous thing for a man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not that like you need and want to be loved, but you hate to be lonely and alone.
Yes. Big time.
When you feel like nothing's there for you.
When you see a man that's like 50 and he's got like no wife, no kids, no anything. It's like, ugh.
Well,
Yeah.
like the wife and kids thing. Well, the kids
Or something, you know what I'm saying?
Can be maybe he just didn't want kids, or maybe he has kids
Totally.
and they're divorced. But like you can. It's more so when you ask a friend or a guy, you're like, "Hey, what's going on? How you doing?" And he's like, "I'm fine." They're not.
It's usually
He's
not.
not. He's usually not.
Yeah.
So like that's what Kyle's going through in the book.
Gotcha.
And it comes to a point where he loses everything, and he's almost destitute. And there's a trigger here or there that happens where he decides to take the easy way out. He decides to kill himself.
Sure.
And he decides to throw himself off a building in the middle of a storm.
Damn.
And it's quite poetic and dramatic in the sense of it. But on his way down, he gets struck by lightning, and that breaks his fall. And he wakes up in the hospital several days later. He's covered in scars. Have you ever seen
People who get hit by lightning?
Lightning scars.
Yeah, they're crazy.
They're honestly
They're kind of dope.
awesome looking.
Yeah, they are
there's
kinda cool.
Parts of me that go, "Oh, it's lightning storm." Like, can I just put my arm
Yeah,
out?
just to get the cool.
Just-
Yeah.
because it like tracks your circulatory system.
Yeah.
It looks cool, man.
Yeah, it does.
But he wakes up in the hospital and half his body is covered in that.
Yeah.
And so he develops these powers. More so he powers up when he gets like overly emotional and can't control it. So he's kind of learning. He learns how to control his newfound ability with his second chance at life. And at this point, he is given the personal task of like, how do you use this?
Oh, there they are.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want
that
to interrupt,
on that,
but I
on
did
that
bring it
lady's
up.
chest.
The guy's back
That
looks
guy,
fucking brutal.
That poor man.
Yeah.
But that
the-
shoulder,
Yeah.
like
See, that looks sick.
that's exactly. See, I have some photos or some pictures of an artist who drew me without a shirt on and what
With
it would
that.
look like, and it looks like that.
Yeah.
It's wild. See, it's so
That is
beautiful.
wild. Look at that. It's like a tree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
That's
this goes
nuts.
all the way up his face. And so at this point, he's kind of given a second chance at life, and he has to decide, like, do you use this for good, for evil, or perhaps for both? Right?
Interesting.
So that's where I'm at right now in the book. So
Right.
of describing that one character. It then jumps to three other men. All three are based off people I know, and they're all Kyles, which
Yeah.
is funny.
Yeah.
So you have Kyle Russell. He is the mayor of Manhattan. I don't think I should give away too much of their abilities or what happens to them, but
Yeah. Just say their names.
but like Kyle Russell's the mayor.
yeah.
He's
We got to leave something to imagination.
He's a snazzy fucking dresser.
Okay.
Always got a great suit on. He has a fantastic mustache
Sure.
in real life. Like,
Really?
I gave the artist photos of my friends, and I was like, I need you to draw them in a character of like comic book style rendition with these powers,
Right.
X powers. And then there is Kyle Avery. Shout out to Avery. He is originally from Queens. He lives in Florida right now. He is a retired Air Force vet. And there is Hartwig. Hartwig is kind of interesting because he lives in Portland. Good man, Hartwig, I love you. He is the nicest, kindest human being you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
Like he's won't know how to fly. He has nothing but good, calm, karmic energy. And I decided to change that and make him the evil enemy of the entire story, just because I wanted it to be.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Because he's like, he's like 420, friendly vibes, this kind of thing, like good time. Why are we fighting, right? And I'm just like, take that same persona, but flip it on its head.
Right.
And so
That's the liberty you get when you're making shit,
right?
Yeah.
And I told him, he's like, this is a great idea. He's like, make me the villain. Everybody loves a good villain, right?
Hell yeah. Sometimes
even
more
more
than
an
the hero.
anti-hero. Exactly.
Yeah.
Avery is kind of the anti-hero in this. So at this point in the story, Russell and Kyle meet at one point, and then Hartwig and Avery meet at one point. They both become teams. Reluctantly, one of them becomes reluctant. But it soon turns into a battle of like good and evil, you could say, where Hartwig wants to unite the gangs of Brooklyn and take over, because there's crime. Right, Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens are rife with crime. Nothing is solving it. No amount of police can solve it. There's nothing we can do. So he takes it upon himself, because he lives in a life of crime anyway. So he knows how the gangs operate all over the place, and everyone's divided. All the factions are different. He wants to unite them all and rule under one name, one banner,
Right.
right away from like the tyrannical regime of, let's just say, the NYPD.
It's like the Warriors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but uniting all of the warriors.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, all the gangs before they blast the dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and from that point, from that moment, it then becomes like a fight for life and for the city between Kyle and Hartwig.
Now, I want to ask, how many pages in are you in on this?
I am like 274, 75. I'm at the point where it was almost like 300 something. I deleted like 150 pages a couple weeks ago. Didn't really delete, but I saved them in a separate file.
Yeah.
Because I'm at a point where I couldn't figure out what dots to connect on and how to ride into the third arc.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, how do you maintain an idea for 300 fucking pages? Right. Because we were talking about, when you got here, you're talking about, like I write a Substack once a month, and it's like a 5-minute, 2 to 5 minute read. And for me, that's like, that takes so much of me to be able to do that.
Right.
Whereas someone who's a writer, you've wrote screenplays and the whole thing, to be able to just keep the fucking thing going, to me, is super impressive.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
To keep the momentum going what's really interesting is it's like I knew how the story was going to start.
Yeah.
I knew how I wanted it to end. And how it happens in the middle was the hardest part.
Yeah.
Is the hardest part. Because when you this is all speaking from me, my point of view. When I'm writing, I'm immediately taking everything from my personal experience and applying it to the story, just to make it a little greater and bigger. But on the way, as you write, you can discover a new character or somebody in the story that pops up and that will somehow tie to your main character and move the story along.
Right.
Because I just added a whole section of, okay, so this is what I can say about the book. So there's one moment where Kyle fends off some muggers who's like attacking a woman on the subway, and he accidentally kills all of them. Doesn't mean to.
Right.
But he just powers up and freaks out, and he just like blows the subway up.
Sure.
And he's running back, trying to get back to Brooklyn, to his apartment, or whoever he's staying with. And he hops in a cab out of nowhere. And the cab pulls up, and he's like, cab driver's like, what? The city's on fire? What's going on with this subway station? He's like, I don't know, just drive. And so they drive home. And the whole way home, the cab driver is one of those chatty cabbies. But he's just talking to him like, where are you from? How are you? Are you happy? Are you okay? Life is good. Don't worry. Like, if you do good things, it will come back to you. And he's talking about his own personal life. That character is based off a real life cab driver that I had an encounter with. I got in a cab at work, And this man, I have his voice recorded on my phone. I recorded the whole conversation.
Yeah.
The moment I got in the cab, he is just like, "Oh my God, good to see you. What is your name?
Yeah.
It's so late. Can we go home? We're gonna go home together. God love you. You are a wonderful and beautiful human being." And he's telling me about his family. And he has, "I have 2 princes and a princess. I'm a millionaire from Long Island. I do this for fun. Not too shabby. I'm the happy cabbie."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Not too shabby?" He's like, "That's me, the happy cabbie.
Yeah.
Not too shabby." And so the whole ride home, we're chatting each other's ear off. And he gave me his card. And he's like, "Anytime you need a ride, come get me. Or call me. I'll drop whoever I'm driving, drop him off on the side, and I'm going to come to you."
Yeah.
And after that conversation, like I was having a bit of a block of where to go in the story. It clicked. And I'm like, this is the man. He's the medium between the good and evil in my own psyche in the book. And he helps me get from point A to point B, discovers who my identity is and who I actually am, and can help guide me along this path of the righteousness, but like overall to do good
Right.
in the world.
Yeah.
And those small encounters help drive the story forward. And I think that does that answer your question?
Yeah, totally. Well, I was going to say, it's kind of like never turning off the creative part of your brain, because something that a lot of comics talk about is keeping the funny part of your brain working. And for comics, it just happens to be funny.
Right.
But for a writer, keeping this is the part of the story I'm in now.
Right.
Keep your eyes open. Maybe something can fucking, like, you had this cabbie and you never know. Ideas fucking come from nowhere. Like fishermen, they come from nowhere.
It literally came from nowhere. And
Yeah.
It bridged a gap. And so there, for a while, I'm struggling on how I can like bring it to an end, because in my mind,
That's always the hardest part. Of
yeah.
anything that we make, it's fucking...
right?
How do you end it?
In my mind, I want it to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
Or like, I want these things to happen, and I want these characters to be introduced enough to where they're interesting, and then I need something cataclysmic to happen, because I know how I want to start the second one.
Gotcha.
And I know how I want the third one to end.
It's just all the middle parts.
But what I do is, when I'm getting a little bit of a block on continuing the story, I start writing action segments that I have ideas for the second and third. Now, this
you just
story,
keep 'em
yeah,
off to the
I
side.
keep them up to the side. They're
Yeah.
usually a couple paragraphs. It's more of like a warm-up technique for me.
Sure.
But they're very bloody and they're dark. People die, and like by the dozens.
Nice.
There are body parts.
That's fun.
People are exploding, like evaporating into and like deatomizing. There are women screaming and men clutching their guts down on on Putnam Street.
Yeah.
Right outside.
Yeah.
And one of the main fights happens in Coney Island, is where I think one of the final arcs will be. But as I'm writing this, I'm like, can I use this in the first book? And then my friend Steve, who you should have on here, he's fantastic. He's one of my I'll give you his Instagram. He's Steve, I'm sorry, I don't know your last name, but you're my regular at Ale House. You were at Playa Betty's, this really fun restaurant we all used to work at.
Yes,
before
yeah,
none of us made any money, and they wouldn't feed us family meal anymore.
That's true. Oh, they just stopped.
Oh yeah,
they
God,
just stopped.
is that illegal?
That's kind of wild.
It fucking should be.
That is pretty wild.
How hard is it?
Yeah.
Answer me this. Riddle me this. How hard is it to cook some rice
Yeah.
or some pasta
Yeah.
and throw some
chicken
chicken
in it.
on a grill?
Yeah.
For 10 minutes.
Bananas. That's...
Plantain.
It's not like they were making, something great.
Deep fried ice cream.
Yeah. We weren't getting Coco Vin over here.
All we need is some carbs and some protein to stand on our feet for 6 hours, guys.
Poor. Yeah.
Why? You don't know what you're doing. Anyway. Anyway, come work for me. I'll hire you.
There you go.
What was I saying?
Steve.
Steve is
Yes.
okay. So Steve.
See, that happens.
Steve and a group of his friends that are also artists and actors. They are in a D&D group, and they play every Monday. They would always come in Monday.
Yep.
He is a writer also, and he wrote a graphic novel.
Very cool.
Called Wist, W-I-S-T. It's about an angel, doing his service to a demigod. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic novel. He's working on the sequel right now. And he came in the other night to me and he asked me about my book. And I sent him, the first like 60 pages that I'm re-editing. And I was telling him about my qualms and my troubles in it. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, I don't really know where I'm going, or I know where I want to end. I'm kind of having trouble in where I want to go. Yeah. And I told him about all the pieces that I've been writing that I think should be in the second and third. And he's like, dude, put it all in the first book. Put everything in the first book.
Yeah.
He's like, if those are the ideas you have right now, what you're telling me is very interesting.
Yeah.
He's like, these are the alliances that are made. This is why Avery has to work with Hartwig. What is he holding over his head that is compromising him? Why is he killing all of these people?
So he's suggesting just put it all in there, and whatever comes to you in this when you start writing the second book, let that be.
Yeah.
It's like almost like an organic approach.
Yeah. And he's like, if it was me, he's like, I would put it all in there, and then I would read it through, and even if it's dog shit, you still read it.
Yeah.
You still wrote it.
Yes.
And it's still in there. And if it doesn't work, move it to the side and move it to a second one.
Right.
So plug Steve. I will get his info too.
Steve,
He is
hell yeah.
lovely to talk to.
Shout out Steve.
Shout out to Steve. I'm sorry.
Whist.
I
Go
don't
get
know your
Whist
last
on
name.
Amazon, maybe.
Wist. So what I will say, the main theme, there's a lot of themes in the book. Like each character is dealing with a different theme. This is a bigger thing that I can actually talk about. Where Kyle is dealing with, depression. Bless you. You didn't even have a bite of that bacon, egg, and cheese yet, did you?
Not yet.
He's dealing with depression, drug abuse, suicide.
Sure.
All three of these things I have experienced personally.
Yeah.
Which is more. I don't mind talking about it. I don't want to bring.
Please
down
talk about it. No, of course. It's. I mean,
you know what I mean. But
there's nothing off limits here.
That's the basis of the character.
Yes.
That's like what
he's autobiographical in that sense.
You jump into his world.
Yeah.
You start to live vicariously.
Well, those are the best characters. Is when you're like, I've had alcohol problems or drug problems, or I've wanted to fucking kill myself, and someone's like, they read about it, they're like, okay, I can relate to this character at least. Right. It definitely helps.
That's it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Each man in the book is kind of dealing with a little bit of a taboo. I feel like that isn't spoken about enough.
Yeah.
In society. So Avery's dealing with single fatherhood.
Right.
And as a retired Air Force vet, he's dealing as a single father. He's working his ass off to make ends meet. His daughter's sick also. Hartwig, just so I know, this isn't what they do in real life. First off,
the people they're based on.
Right. It's based off of these personalities.
Sure.
They're all successful men. I love them. They're healthy and they're happy.
Right.
These are just the characters in the story that I need to tell.
That you're using.
Right.
To tell this. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Hartwig, it lives in a life of crime. Mm-hmm. And that's his thing.
Right.
He's thriving in it and he's good at it. Russell is the mayor, and when you're a man in politician, you deal with duplicity all the time.
Yes.
It's like handshakes and backstabbing.
What a tough fucking gig.
And venomous. What do you do?
It's not that far from the crime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you do? You add more police? Do you get rid of them? Do you let the streets police themselves?
Right.
So all of these things I feel like are issues that can, be spoken about a lot. And I try not to get too self-indulgent with my own character in it. Because I like to roll around in the mud of words sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to give light to my own chaotic experience. From a fall from grace to redemption to doing good and trying harder this time.
Right.
Because, at one point I was just I was doing drugs all the time. Boys.
Just getting after it.
Just getting after it. I just love
getting up early.
Oh,
David Goggins.
Not even sleeping. Staying up early all night.
Stay hard.
But days on end.
Yeah.
Days on end, with an 8 ball. Days on end. And you become a horrible human being, and you become a shell of your former self.
Yeah.
And it literally happened.
But here's the thing, Kyle.
Yeah.
It's so romantic. People love the story of an artist, of an author that fucking self implodes. We were just listening to Alice in Chains before this.
Right.
Lane Staley, maybe one of the best rock singers ever.
Agreed.
Right? Fucking self-destructed. And everybody looks at a guy like that and they're like, he might not have been here for a long time, but that motherfucker left his mark.
Right. Yeah, this is true.
You know, and that's not always the case with people who try to follow that same route.
Right.
You know,
I agree with you. Well, I was imploding for years.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
it was.
yeah.
I wasn't in a good place. I thought I was happy. I wasn't. I was in a loving relationship that turned very sour in the last couple of years. I think COVID did that a lot to
For
people.
some people, yeah,
For
yeah.
a lot of people,
Yeah.
it kind of, we all kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah.
And
You're like, what do you you're worried about that? There's, kind of something going on.
We all kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah,
if you know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean. And there's something going on, and it was unfortunate how it happened because, like, I was using, and every day.
Yeah.
And,
When did this stop?
God, this stopped. This stopped. God, I think I'm sober for like 3 years now.
Nice.
A little over 3 years.
Yeah.
I enjoy cider. Booze was never my vice.
It's just other stuff.
I loved cocaine.
Yeah.
It
It seems like you'd like cocaine.
yeah, I'm very sporadic. In
You
my
are,
mind,
yeah,
but
definitely.
like it works.
Yeah.
I enjoy a nice whiskey, but that was never my.
That's
vice.
not the problem.
But like it happened one day where I had a bunch of drug bags in one of my drawers. She found it, and I was like, "Well, yeah, you're right." She's like, "You got to go get help." I'm like, "You're right. Actually, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
I'm suffering enough. I have to do this." And so I checked myself in, and then I stayed there in rehab for 30 days, and it was fucking horrible.
That's what I
It
hear.
was fucking.
That's-
I tell you what, most things never sober you up quick. Then like that place was an awful place to stay. It was a great place to get sober.
Yeah.
You
That
know what I
makes
mean?
sense, right?
And
Yeah.
it's funny how just the other day, like I think about it all the time of like what drives you to or a person to change like that, because like
It has to be you.
Kicking a habit is real hard.
Yeah.
Real fucking hard.
Yeah.
And of all people, shout out to Ben Affleck.
What did he do?
I know. I know. I'm like Batman. I'm like it was terrible Batman, but he was
That got you sober. You watched him,
I
him
literally
playing Batman.
I watched Batman versus Superman, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm checking out. I'm good, guys. I don't
Yeah.
need any more water
Yeah.
forever.
Apple juice.
Yeah, apple juice
Yeah.
forever. I saw a video of him going, no amount of like, shammy, faulty, expensive resort rehabilitation programs or circle self-help groups will help you or get somebody sober.
No.
It's when you're done suffering is when
When you're sick of the shit that you're putting yourself
when
through.
you have suffered enough.
Yeah.
That's when you decide.
Yeah.
And for me, it wasn't even when I checked myself in, because I was in rehab right down the street, actually.
Yeah.
Not far from here.
Yeah.
It was after I tried to off myself. And,
How'd you try it?
And
Since we're talking about.
oh yeah, just a nice little rope and a pipe.
Okay.
Didn't work.
Gotcha.
Friend stopped me.
Yeah. Shout out that person.
I wanted to say cellmate. He wasn't my cellmate, but like he was in the same.
It was at rehab.
It was at rehab. It was in the same floor as me.
Wow.
Shout out to Boston Mike.
Boston Mike.
Don't know where you are, Mike, but if you're out there, I hope you're fucking well.
Yeah.
Boston Mike was a lovely human being. He was devastatingly handsome, covered in tattoos, thickest Boston accent I've ever heard in my life.
He said, "What are you doing, you cocksucker?"
I don't know what happened. I just woke up on the ground. He just woke up and he beat the shit out of me. And it was fine. I deserved it.
Yeah, totally.
It's fine. I deserved it. He woke me up. And that put an imprint on me where I was like, okay, I'm done. I have to stop suffering.
This is the
I
one.
have to stop
Yeah,
suffering.
yeah.
Like, I know I'm here and I'm losing everything outside of this life. Like, I know my friends are leaving me. I know my family's not talking to me. I know everything outside. Once I walk out of these walls, I'm not going to have any of my social circle anymore. You have to choose sides. We broke up. All our friends are muddled together. Take one side. But I have to wake up and do it again, like
Yeah.
start over, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like you have to be okay with that. I wasn't for a while, but I'm great now.
Yeah.
And so that moment woke me up, and when I got out of rehab and I'm home in my, like, I was living in a shitty basement apartment for about a year and a half in Jersey City, and that's when I was really starting to write. I was really writing because like it didn't have
Needed to put that addiction elsewhere.
There was
it went
something
somewhere else
going on in me, and I'm just like, now
Yeah.
I can get this out.
Yeah.
And so writing was my vice, next to like double espressos,
Right.
and nicotine,
Yeah.
which
It's pretty close to cocaine,
I know,
double
but which
espressos.
I'm 3 months nicotine free.
Oh, boo!
I
that
know.
one. That one is.
Dude, let me tell you what. Let me tell you. Oh, come
I'm
on.
happy for the rest, but that one.
Oh my god, I am so upset
Yeah.
that I don't have strawberry watermelon mint
just flowing.
at my beck and call.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than waking up in the morning,
Immediately.
having a bowl of Cheerios.
Yeah. Cheerios.
I love Cheerios.
Interesting.
With some
Regular Cheerios.
regular Cheerios. Step into my world, Tony. Regular Cheerios.
Made some big changes.
A little bit of bananas. huge.
Yeah.
Bananas, a little bit of coffee, and suck on a jewel like it's the end of the world.
Oh yeah.
And then, take a big old dump afterwards. My God.
What's
or even
better
do
than
it while
that?
you're on the bed. That's why it's so good.
You could just
it's
have it
so
all the time.
convenient.
It's there all the time.
You know how many times Tony and I used to work together? You know how many times I would just leave the bar?
Yeah,
And
just
I would just
whack
go
that
into the
thing.
bathroom. I wouldn't poop or pee or
Yeah.
text. I would just sit in silence and hit my vape. And just hit my vape. And
I
I'm
would
like,
do it not even in the bathroom. I just would do it right out in front of everybody. But I would cover it like this.
oh, it's great. Oh, that's why. Looks like you're
And I would
blowing into
never
your hand.
I
Like,
would
oh, my
never
hand,
blow it out.
My hands are cold.
You just keep it in, and you get a real. My favorite part is when you suck it real and you get a head rush, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah, that's
And the Mr. Krabs meme.
Oh my
where you're
god!
like-
Yeah. The mine was always like the woman who's looking and she sees algorithms in front of her head. That was me. When I hold it in too hard, I start to see code,
Oh, I love it.
and I'm like, I can't pour a drink properly right now.
Right.
So I'm getting off track a little bit.
You would. We were talking about nicotine. You're clear from nicotine.
Yeah, unfortunately now it's just like juice and coffee.
Yeah,
Caffeine will be the
yeah.
next spice I kick.
You know what it is? I mean, we're talking about the convenience of vapes. I almost feel like that's worse than cigs because you kind of have to to go and have a cigarette. You got to go outside.
Yep.
You got to stop what you're doing.
Yep.
But a vape, dude, I'll lay on my back and angle a vape.
Oh,
in
so
my
you
mouth.
don't even have to.
I don't even have to touch
I
it.
don't even have to touch it.
Yeah.
I'll be reading on my phone.
Yeah.
And it's just.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh, I'm already burping. I'm just like, my body wants to feel the rush. I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's why it's a danger to society.
Yeah. It is neuroprotective.
What is that?
Nicotine. It's just bad to smoke it, but there's been studies that show that nicotine have helped in prevention of Alzheimer's and dementia in old people.
Interesting.
So that's why Zins and
Right.
nicotine gum is technically kind of good.
Interesting.
In a way. It's
I
the
n-
smoking that's
I
bad.
never liked the nicotine gum. I thought it was spicy.
Yeah, I've never had it.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I thought I was just eating like a chili pepper.
Yeah.
Without the flavor of the chili.
Right. So you were in the basement apartment. Now you're fucking writing.
Yeah,
You're getting
yeah,
after
and
it.
that's when I started to write because I was like when I got out and I was back to square one.
Yeah.
I
That's exciting in a way.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what? There was a while where I had a couple breakdowns.
Yeah.
Like think of it like this. Like I don't want to get too sobby, but think of it like this. You lose everything, and you go into rehab. When I came out, I hopped around on a couple friends' couches I went home for a month. I lived with my mom in Maryland to gather my shit. Came
That
back.
always helps.
Yeah, God love her. God
Yeah.
love her to death. Marcy, love you. You're the best. And she, make sure you're fed and you're happy. And oh, you know what? Sorry, I'm jumping around in my mind right
Please
now.
do it.
When I got, tell you what, also like ignited like the new spark of like, hey, I'm gonna live again.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna write. I'm gonna fucking finish this. When I got out of rehab and I was living in Maryland for the month just to get my bearings, I saw my dad,
Gotcha.
and I hadn't seen my dad in over 10 years.
Whoa.
We had a falling out we didn't speak for. We literally did not speak for. God, how many days is it? It was like over. I don't know how many days are in 10 years, but like
3,650,
something
right?
like that.
You just put a zero,
right?
on
Did you put a zero? Fuck you. I don't care, but it was
Long
just,
time.
God, long time. We did not talk.
Right.
And he heard about what happened to me, and he was like, "I'm coming to visit." He called my mom, and he's like, "Tell him I'm coming to visit." And he came to visit me in Maryland, and the first time I'd ever seen him, and he looks fantastic. And I was like, "I'm not staying here at my mom's tonight." I was like, "I want to stay with you." And so, we went to his hotel. We went and got some food. We went to his hotel, and I was like, "I'll sleep on the couch." And we just sat and talked with each other for hours. We lost time. It was hours. But like, what do you say? You know what I mean? Like, what could
After
I have
10
wanted to
years.
say? I was like, I have so much to tell you.
Oh, of course.
And I have so many questions for you.
Yeah.
Why? Like, why weren't you there? This is why I wasn't here.
Right.
And we settled a lot of beef. We answered a lot of questions for each other, and he dropped some knowledge on me. Like I didn't even know this, but 3 years prior, he had prostate cancer, and he almost died.
Whoa.
Oh, on the verge of dying. I didn't even know about any of this.
Yeah.
Flown to a different state with a robot the robot was named Da Vinci, and a robot worked on him.
Yeah.
Got the cancer out. He had thyroid cancer, got the cancer out. I have no idea. He's on a ridiculous amount of medication right now, but he looks good.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever saw my dad, like, he is 6'1", semi-professional bodybuilder, built like a brick shit house, is a lovely, intelligent, smart, articulate human being. We just had our differences for a long time.
Sure.
After that, we talk almost every other day. Literally after that meeting with him, it changed my entire perspective. And I'm just like, a boy needs his father, no matter what, no matter the age. And that gave me influence into my writing.
Right.
And then when I came back to Jersey, I was like, fuck, this is hard. Doing this by myself again. But like, now I have the tools and the reasons and the inspiration behind it that is the only thing I need to focus on. That's it. I can't focus on my grieving or the friends that I lost or the reasons I decided to self-destruct for so many years. Like, I have to move past that now.
Right.
Right? Does that make
totally,
sense?
Yeah, it's like a next. Now you have things. It's like a springboard.
Right.
Now you have where before, like you were saying, you lost your friends and your family wasn't talking to you and all that shit. You wanted to kill yourself. There's nothing to jump off of.
Right. Yeah.
You're fucking in the air already. If
Right.
that makes sense.
It does. But instead now all of that muck and minutia and veracity of just anger and hate and just combustion is now a bag of ammunition to use and pull out whenever I need it, when I'm working on something, when I'm writing.
Right.
When I'm writing, what is this feeling that it's invoking in me? What can I relate it to that I've experienced? And put that into a prose.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
Well, I think anytime someone has a problem similar to yours or, in the same realm, it's always best advised to go back home, wherever home is. Some people don't have home, which I mean, they're in a really fucked up situation.
Right.
But fortunate for you and fortunate for other people, they're able to go back to their family, just spend time, walk the streets they were when they were kids.
Right.
I mean, we got a picture of Miles Davis in here. He was fucked up on heroin for a long time, and he was in his 20s. And before right when he was starting to become a fucking legend, fucked up on heroin, and he went back to his dad's farm and got clean. Stayed there for I don't know how long, a few months, but he went back and fucking
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Totally.
See,
and then he came back and did cocaine for a while.
God, it always.
But he's Miles Davis, so it's okay.
Always comes back to cocaine. It's just so good.
That's what I've heard.
And it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And my God. It's
Yeah.
like, I
You
don't
get things
want
done, I'd assume.
it. You know what? You get shit done after a while. Then the next morning.
Not everything is bad.
My God, the next 48 hours, you will hate everything
That's what
about
I
your
hear.
life.
That's what I
That
hear.
is the worst feeling after that.
Yeah.
Like, you make awful decisions.
Sure.
And it's,
imagine.
I'll tell you what, that go back to your farm.
Yeah.
And then you find it, and then you go.
Yeah.
I will love to hear and respect more any story from any man or woman that is like, I suffered through this, or like I was addicted to that, and I almost died, and I almost lost everything, or I did lose everything, and eventually I came back. And you're talking to me now, like, I will never get tired of hearing that story.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever get tired of hearing that story from somebody.
It's an underdog story. We fucking love that.
Yeah, and this comes back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
Like, people love to hear authors implode or artists implode.
Yeah.
And
I got Hunter S. Thompson up there.
yeah, I saw that when
I
came
fucking
in.
love that
I was
guy.
like,
And he
this
killed
makes-
himself.
This makes sense.
Yeah.
It's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
There is a really fun moment. I'm going to tie this back to my story for a second.
Yeah.
And this doesn't spoil anything, but this is a great reveal in a scene. So what I want to incorporate, which makes my book, I feel a little different. I'm going to finish it by the end of the summer. That's my goal.
Okay.
P.S.
Yeah, we'll get you back on here.
100%. Yeah, no, I would love to. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want it to be a little different. I want to incorporate art in it, artwork, but on different set pieces that happen throughout the story. And I
Okay.
want, like, as you're reading what's happening, there's another page of dialogue, but one page is like a drawing
Yes.
of what's happening.
That is nice. I like that.
I think that's cool.
Yeah.
And I have a couple artists that I've used for my Facebook group that I'm part of that, like, I want to use them for a page.
Right.
And so there's this one scene that I have always wanted as a bartender and working in the service industry. I have always wanted to just like take a soda gun and spray people with it.
Totally.
Which I have before.
Yeah.
I did at SantaCon about a decade ago. It was great.
SantaCon.
SantaCon.
It's a convention of Santa Clauses.
Oh,
You've never heard of SantaCon?
No.
All right, I'll do. Keep
Let's
going.
find
but
out.
I'll
Are
go
you
explain.
straight up? You never heard of SantaCon?
Never heard of SantaCon.
He's laughing and hasn't heard of SantaCon.
Never
This
once.
is blowing my mind.
You know,
right now.
fun fact: I played Santa in a school play one time. As a kid, it was the audition was a ho 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 off.
Oh, well, you have a very deep, resonant voice.
Well, I overdid it, and they were like, "All right, this kid, fucking put him in."
Fucking okay.
Damn.
Yeah. Can you zoom in on this?
Oh,
Oh, look at the
Santas.
sadness.
Whoa. This is in Times Square, or
This
It's
was 20
all over New York City.
it's
So
all over
New York
New York
City
City.
has SantaCon, and they just all dress as Santa or elves, and they bar hop.
Yep.
when?
It's,
when does
during
this
the week
happen?
of Christmas.
So it's during
I
Christmas.
think the double-edged sword to this
I
is
think it's
that,
usually early December
yeah,
in NYC.
sometime,
Yeah.
Okay.
The double-edged sword to this is that I believe it is sponsored by some like Toys for Tots company, and there are donations made to giving kids that don't have anything like presents.
Right,
I mean, there has to be a good cause when you cause this much ruckus
There is
somewhere.
Sure.
So
It's-
everybody dresses up as Santa. The women dress up as slutty elves or reindeer, and then they just bar crawl all through the city.
They get absolutely plastered too.
Wrecked.
It's worse than
I had no clue about this.
it's
I
worse
was here
than
in
like the
December.
St. Patty's Day parade.
Oh, by leagues and leaps and bounds, it is
Really?
worse than that. Are you kidding me, Tony? You've never seen this?
I've never seen it.
This
I was
is-
here in December.
I don't
missed
think
it.
there was a lot of it. There wasn't a big. It wasn't big this year.
Okay.
It wasn't big.
But
the last,
that
past,
looks like fucking
3,
mayhem.
4 years. Oh my god, the mayhem.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I remember at SantaCon, I was working at this bar that was called Butterfield 8, which is now shut down. Awful bar. Awful dive bar in Midtown.
Doesn't sound great.
Oh, it was a terrible place.
Butterfield.
Yeah, it was awful. I lied on my resume to get the job there.
Yeah. Worth it.
No bar experience whatsoever. Worth it. And it was SantaCon, and I opened the bar that day. I had to be there at noon, and so I got there at noon to unlock the doors, and there was already a line down the block of like 600 Santas, and I'm by myself. And so I opened the doors, floods in, 200 people all waving at the
Yeah,
bar. Can I get 5 porn star martinis? Can I get this? Can I get that? And I'm just like, nope, vodka soda.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
That's all y'all
and eventually everyone got so drunk. There was high top tables, big round tables in the middle of the bar. There were a bunch of women standing on them and like dancing.
Oh man, those are the dangerous ones. Too.
And they're wobbly.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing ice at them. I'm like, hey, Katie, get down.
Yeah.
That's what I call every
Every white
drunk
girl. I was
white
gonna
girl
say it could be
with
any
with the vodka
that's
soda.
probably
You
right.
are a Katie.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't. So at one point, I was angry, and so I grabbed my soda gun, and I covered the nozzle, and I sprayed everyone that was
Blasted them.
Oh, it was great.
With soda water or like
No, with Sprite.
Like Sprite.
Something
Okay,
sticky.
nice.
No,
Sticky.
no.
Yeah, fuck 'em.
I'm not kind.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Fuck 'em.
And so they're in the story. This is how I'm incorporating artwork into it.
Yeah.
So I want you to envision this. So there's this one point where I'm working at this bar, and I have a bunch of patrons, bar guests, coming up to me and yelling and like, "Can I get Fireball, vodka soda? Where's the bathroom?" Bleh, vomits. And the dialogue is structured like that in the book. And my boss is also yelling at me, and I use his real name, Frank. He's an asshole. He's an Italian asshole in Newark.
fuck him.
He's stupid.
A lot of them are.
I don't like him at all.
I hate Italians.
He's terrible. You're cheating on your wife, Frank. Stop it. We all know it. They're all yelling at me, but in my mind, I'm envisioning all the bar guests as goblins.
Yeah.
Orcs. They're like they're wearing sports jerseys.
Yeah.
They have helmets on with arrows coming out of them. And they're all holding up mugs of ale. They're just like blah, 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 just yelling at me.
It's just a ruckus.
And in my mind, I'm zoned out, and I'm like I feel like almost every bartender would like to do this at one point. I just take 2 bottles of overproof rum, light them on fire, stand on top of the bar, and then just smash it into the crowd and just watch them all melt. And they're still reaching for me because they want a fucking Bud Light.
Right.
And so that picture in your mind,
Yeah.
that scene, just to give the reader another sensory to like another dopamine kick in it.
Yeah.
To have somebody draw like the main character on top of the bar with 2 flaming bottles.
Oh, I could see it.
And then you have orcs everywhere.
Yeah.
With like bottles trying
Yeah.
to get something filled. So that whole sequence is fantastic. I can even send that to you because I'm really proud of that.
That does
That's
sound
written
cool.
very well.
Yeah.
At least I think so.
Now, does your experience with like film and stuff like that, does that make you want to have a visual aspect in your books? Do you think that that's what it is, or is it just another creative kind of?
I think
outlet?
I think both. I think the answer is yes to both.
Yeah.
Because you want it to be seen.
Right.
I would love, like, there's nothing I would love more. The like, remember the original idea is I wanted this to be a graphic novel.
Yes.
Because the way I write, like the way I think, and the way that I think is purely like hyper visualized in my mind, and I want that on paper in front
Right.
of people so they can see maybe into my own weird diabolical psyche.
Right.
And that plays a big part in it. But again, when it comes to like financial, I can't financially do this on my own.
Right.
Then I'm like, I'll change it into prose. And so I try to write as if I'm painting a vivid oil painting. And my metaphors will fall short sometimes. Like my syntax will go off the rails. I might not use the right verb, or I spend all day putting in a semicolon and then I spend all day taking it out.
For sure.
Like it's sometimes
Over
just-
censoring yourself.
right. Like
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah, yeah.
it doesn't fucking make sense what I'm
Right.
doing. But because
I do that
I'm-
writing a fucking 2-minute joke. Forget someone that's writing a.
Okay. Well,
you
I
know.
mean, look, we can compare and contrast all day, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
could never ever do what you're doing right now. This.
Yeah.
It's like I'm speaking, I'm speaking English and you're speaking you're speaking Latin
Yeah.
to me in what you're doing, which I respect even more. You know what I mean? I don't
Totally.
understand the algorithm, but I'm respecting your creative process.
Sure.
And so that's why I'm also like, how can I? Editing needs to come last. Just need to get everything on paper and then just give it to your friends so they can read it and be like, hey, dude, this sucks. Hey, change this. Like I
Yeah.
want people to say like, this doesn't work. Change this so I can make it better.
Yes.
But I like the visual aspect because 1, I think it's cool. 2, I think it's something a little different. Like, wouldn't it be better how every man romanticizes? Like, okay, do you know we know the anime Guts? I'm sorry, Berserk.
No.
Okay,
I'm
the
not an
character.
anime guy.
Okay, so the character Guts in Berserk, that's a whole different conversation. But every man that enjoys anime, for one, especially the story of Berserk, the story of Guts is tragic. Is very tragic. It's very sad. But does a man rise from a boy to a fucking behemoth of a man with a sword and a blind eye. And it's very sad, but there's something romantic about it. Like you said, there's romanticizing standing on top of a roof in the rain,
Sure.
staring into the sky, giving up. That invokes something.
Yeah.
That invokes something of like who, what, and why. Why? What is the story here? What drove him to the edge? What is the purpose about this? And then we add the supernatural of lightning to it. But a rags to almost riches to godlike in the matter of a couple weeks is a weight that is carried through the book.
Sure.
And just trying to be normal again.
Right.
But you can never go back. Yeah. Like my character, like in a sense died and buried his former self, but reemerged alive again. But nothing is the same as before. Nothing can be the same again.
Yeah. I mean, that's the story. I mean, I've been reading some like mythological stuff about different gods from different places.
Great.
And there's a lot of stories like that where the gods are born again, reborn in a different form. Huh. And sometimes it's a demotion, sometimes it's a promotion.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
the karmic balance or something, right?
Yeah, like I recently read about the Japanese goddess Uzume, who originally was just like, she was a goddess, but she wasn't like up here, until the storm god, I forget his name, he got heated one day, he went in a cave, and the whole planet was dark and shitty. Oh. And she had the idea to make everybody laugh by dancing and taking off her shirt. And
sounds like a fun time.
That does sound like a fun time. It made me laugh. And the storm god came out and was like, "All right, you made me laugh. Draw us a son." So there's kind of, that's an example of someone, getting a promotion. Great. But it's, it's kind of like what you're saying. It's people like that story, I think. And it's a story that's been told forever.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think, there's a great story of, there's a great book. I forget the author, but it's called A Million Little Pieces.
Okay.
And it is like 1,000 pages long. That's one of the books that I immediately read after rehab. And it's his life story. It's his story of his travels into rehab, of his rock bottom, of his suffering and deciding to end it. It's a great book.
Sure.
There was a movie. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson, plays him, in this. It was on Hulu. It's a fantastic movie. And it's a story that's told 100 times. It is. But like it doesn't get old because you want this person to make it.
Yes.
You want them to make it. Mm-hmm. The whole Leonardo DiCaprio. When I was in rehab, we watched a movie with him as a kid when he turns into like a heroin addict.
Yeah.
I forget the name.
What's Eating Gilbert Grapes?
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
that's the one.
Stories.
Okay. Basketball stories.
Gilbert Grapes, he's retarded
now.
Yeah.
Sorry, slipped out.
No, he's full blown.
He climbs trees.
He's full blown R-word.
Yeah.
He hangs out in trees all day.
Yeah.
Basketball stories. Good God.
Basketball Diaries.
Diaries.
Or
fucking
stories?
sad.
Diaries.
I think it's Diaries.
But it worked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It worked.
Hell yeah, when he's crying on the other side of the door with his mom.
Oh my
diarrhea.
God. I probably cried more than any other excuse me. I probably cried more than any other patient in there.
Yeah.
Cuz it was rough for me.
So I got to mention this this girl I know, she's a comedian, and she got put in like a mental institution.
Oh no. But do tell.
She and I think she's fine with this because I told her to make it a bit because it's hilarious. She said
this is why it's good. Come on.
This was a mental institution specifically for women.
Okay.
And obviously everybody's got all different varying mental disorders.
Right.
And they showed a movie. They showed them Hunger Games.
Why? Why?
And this girl tells me, she's like, I thought it was an instructional video.
Oh my God.
I'm like, you got to tell that one to people.
No way.
Yeah.
No shit.
I'm like, you Why would they do that? Why would they show you guys
That was the movie they chose to show.
They chose Hunger Games for a group of insane ladies to watch.
Fucking crazy. You don't do that. Don't do that one. Like, I don't know what they would show them. Show them the baseball movie with Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah,
That's teamwork.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
Bill
yeah.
Better.
Something like that. Field of Dreams or
No,
something.
well, I
That's
forget the
League of
also
Their
Field
Own.
of Dreams is good.
Kevin Costner.
League of Their Own.
League of Their
League
Own.
of Their Own.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
something easy. SpongeBob movie.
Oh man, we had TV.
Yeah.
We had TV when I was in rehab. There was like 9 channels.
Yeah. Do you have the clear TVs so you couldn't hide anything?
No, it was bolted up into the rec room.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
bolted up in the wall. That place was like jail. I've never been to jail,
But
like,
assuming.
I'm assuming this is what it was going to look like.
Right,
or
right.
feel like, because that was like the direction I was headed. But we only had like 9 channels. One was the movie channel, and one was TLC. And I loathe reality television.
Especially TLC.
Oh my god.
It's all like just exploiting
Oh,
people in
oh, yeah, of course.
horrible circumstances.
But you know what? I will shout out to this Below Deck.
What's that one about?
You know Below
Oh
Deck?
wait, is that where they work for the?
They work on these
they
super
work on
rich yachts.
yachts.
Yeah. They're like food.
I
yeah.
watched every fucking episode of Below Deck.
Below Deck.
Like into the wee hours of the night, because like, you know, when you're getting sober and you're coming off of any kind of drug that's not a downer, like you don't sleep. You don't sleep those first couple days.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
Wired.
I feel that way when I take like a tea break with weed.
Oh yeah.
Then at night I'm like,
It's just
what am I
it's
supposed to
all
do?
The hamsters
I'm supposed to be high.
They're just running. Yeah, I'm like, I need to be high right now. Why?
Yeah.
I have no jewel and like I have no nothing.
Oh man.
But like, so I would sit in the rec room and I would watch hours of Below Deck, and that got me sober. Thank you, Below Deck. And the whole time I'm like, how can I work on these yachts? Is there somewhere where I can like apply, because they are
gotta be.
hanging out.
Yeah,
they're hanging
taken.
out. I was like, I can mop the deck.
Yeah.
and do other people's laundry and live on a fucking yacht that goes from Spain to I don't know, Qatar.
And be on TV,
Right?
And fuck each other,
It's-
which is what I hear.
Come on, that's what they
I
do.
hear they all
that's
fuck
what they
each
do.
other.
They all
Yeah,
fuck each
yeah,
other. It's
yeah.
fine. Whatever.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
But like, what a life.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But I will say, I did at one point start to figure out how I was watching the other fellow rehabbies in
Yeah.
there. We would all go, we'd all go down and get food at the same time.
Yeah.
We all sit at our separate tables. We all come back up. They check our pockets. We're not allowed to take anything with us. But I started to watch how everybody would sneak up a banana or a muffin or like, something to eat. And so I started sneaking up chips and like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I would like stuff them in my sock.
Yeah.
Or I would like put them under my underwear, but like at the waistline.
Right.
So they wouldn't you're supposed to like lift your shirt up, but you couldn't see it because of the sweatpants we were wearing was like boofy.
Yeah.
Puffy.
Baggy.
Couldn't see it, so I started my own currency in there. Oh. And so me and the other guys,
Flipping
we would
them.
always trade food at the end of the night.
Yeah.
We became best friends.
Sure.
We became best
It's
friends.
like Halloween all over again.
100%.
Yeah.
Like I would give Wade, shout out to Wade, who is the head barber and owner of Kings and Queens Barbershop in the Bronx.
Kings and Queens.
Kings and Queens. That's
Head out
what it's
there.
called. Good man. He taught me how to play spades. Every night he would come in. He would be like, "Do you got any peach pies?" And I would be like, "Do you have chips?" And I got peach pie. And he would come in with Ruffles chips, sour cream and onion.
Hell yeah.
And we became best friends after that. Good
Yeah.
man. We totally got off track. That TLC show fucked me up.
No, it's all good. I wanted to ask you.
Great show.
I wanted to ask you about you were in a movie. I feel like we should bring that up.
Oh, that was the recent one.
That's old, right? Was that? I thought you put something up that you were in a movie like years and years ago, like 10, and you were like riding your bike.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Are those two things different? The one that you posted?
Totally different.
Okay, talk about the recent one.
The recent one
Yeah.
was a short film that I did. My friend Patrick Devaney, great man, excellent filmmaker and writer. I've worked with him on several films. He wrote a little comedy called Dad's New Roommate.
Yes.
And I played it's like an intervention with like this, this dad, his three kids all come over and they're like, "Dad, you got a new roommate. who is it kind of thing. We're all worried about him because he's old. I play the younger son, Jerry, who's kind of like the Kieran Culkin in Succession. It's kind of a dick.
Okay.
It's a great 20-minute short. It's been accepted to a ton of different film festivals. I just went to one in the Brightside Film Festival, which was in New Jersey, and we got several nominations. We won for ensemble and best actress. Heather Drew. Shout out to Heather Drew.
Shout out Heather Drew.
Shout out to Heather Drew. She's a fantastic actress. Yeah, no, that was just a fun one that I worked on with him.
Now, you told me the name. Where do you think he got that name from? Because that's in a Bill Hicks bit. Daddy's New Roommate.
Is it really?
It is. He tells a joke on Letterman.
Oh.
That it was a Letterman set that Letterman took off. He didn't even air it.
No kidding.
And it wasn't that bad. Even Letterman years later, he released it and he's like, I don't know why I didn't think we should air that one.
He called it it was just Dad's New Roommate because there's a twist and reveal in it at the end, which makes it like absurdism comedy bit.
Yeah.
It's his version and idea of a modern day invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Okay.
So that's where it comes from.
Gotcha.
Can't say it to like if I don't want to like spoil the whole thing.
Yeah. No,
But-
definitely not.
That was the idea, and it makes sense when he describes it.
Because the Bill Hicks bit is fucking hilarious. He's talking about how this was in the 90s, and how they were making books for kids to get them used to homosexual relationships, like parents with gay kids.
Interesting.
And he was, parents with gay kids with gay parents. My bad.
Right.
And the titles of the books were one of them was two mommies, like Jesse's Two Mommies or something, and Daddy's New Roommate. And he's like, guys, I think this is absolutely disgusting. This is horrible. I'm talking about Daddy's New Roommate. Jesse's Two Mommies.
Okay.
Kind of cool.
Okay. So that's why you got rid of it. That's funny.
But it was funny. Yeah.
No shit.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. So, short film that's out now.
Yeah. Well, it's in the festival circuit right now.
Okay.
That's what we're doing.
Gotcha.
So,
very cool.
God, that's funny. I
Yeah.
need some juice.
Yeah, no, I think we're gonna wrap this thing up. We've been going.
Are we?
It's-
How long have we been
We've
going
been going like an hour and a half, right?
Has this been an hour and
We're
a half?
pretty close. Yeah.
I just lost track of time.
Hell yeah, that's good. That's a good thing.
You guys need to microwave your bacon, egg, and cheeses.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
egg
yeah.
is probably cold.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, here's a question.
I'm still gonna eat it. I'm fucking hungry.
So we can end this with a couple things.
Yeah.
Because I eventually got to get to Queens, where I live now. Shout out to Queens.
Fuck Jersey.
Fuck New Jersey. Look, let me tell you something about New Jersey. Let me end this on a little bit of a bullshit.
On a
here.
rant. Let's
Let
do
me tell
it.
you about New Jersey.
Fuck
real
Jersey.
quick. Everybody
Is this
there
the
looks
clip?
like
I feel the clip coming.
This might be
everybody
the
there,
clip.
it looks like they've done meth at least once.
Yeah.
All right. I have also, so I'm not passing judgment.
That's why you live there.
That's why I lived there. The
Yeah.
meth was great. No, I didn't do meth. It was just cocaine all the
Yeah.
time. I fucking hated that place. I never wanted to live there.
Didn't like it.
Didn't like it at all. It was
Yeah.
awful. I mean, I moved there with my then fiance a month before COVID started. But I'll tell you what, it was in Journal Square in Jersey City, right next to the water. It was $2,000 a month for a fucking 2-bedroom with
That's
a pool
nice.
and a gym and a parking garage.
That's nice.
Great.
Yeah.
And now, fast forward 5 years, it's like top 3 most expensive cities in the country.
Wow.
Blame the whites. It's our
Yes,
fault.
of course.
We all left Manhattan.
I always like to shoot a gun in my neighborhood to bring the property keep the property value down.
Can we just bring it back?
I think you can do that.
I wish
Yeah.
I have a gun. It's in storage locker in Jersey. I can't have it cross state lines. I'm so angry about
Sure.
it. Strap up, people.
It sounds like your time in Jersey was like mine in Connecticut. I was only in Connecticut for a
yeah?
year.
Okay.
And I absolutely it was like a jail sentence.
Was it really?
I would cross off fucking that's where I got that habit to do it now.
Oh, okay, you're like a captive animal released in the wild that's still walking in circles.
Exactly.
Because it's been in a cage for so long.
Yes.
Even in public, it's just walking in circles.
Yeah.
Like it's just doing it because its brain's conditioned.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no! I'm back. I bounced around for several years after we broke up in my stint in rehab, and let me tell you what, I am so happy to be back.
Yes.
Queens is the only borough that I have not lived in. And I lived in Brooklyn and Manhattan for 15, 16, 17 years. And in that time, I'd been to Queens maybe 3 times
Yeah.
ever. And so now That's where I live.
That's
My
where-
lady
that's-
was there
that's
too,
where you're at.
and a bunch of friends live there. And
Hell yeah.
it's actually quite lovely. And
Shout out Sarah. Kyle,
she-
Kyle didn't make a fool of himself on this.
Thank
Sarah.
you, thank you. Please don't judge me.
yeah.
It
started rough. We were talking about some weird
I told
shit.
you I wouldn't talk about birds, but I didn't say I wouldn't talk about pigeons.
Right.
So,
Former birds.
former birds brought
Yeah.
them back from the dead.
Yeah.
I just because I had to say this about fucking Jersey.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm yelling in your mic too loud right now. I'll tell you what, if fucking Putin was like, I'm coming over to hang out and I'm going to invade the country.
Yes.
I'm going to bomb you back to the fucking Stone Age. I would be like, hold on. No, please don't do that. Do it to New Jersey.
Just New Jersey.
You can nuke it from orbit.
Yeah.
It's the only way to be sure.
Yes.
And then go back home.
No. Go to Connecticut after that.
Okay.
It'll take
okay.
even less firepower. It's small. It's the third smallest state.
Small arms fire. You never have to leave the
That's
plane
right.
or the boat. Blow them both up
Fuck them both
and
up.
then leave.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe, like, the sense of fucking relief I had the day that I moved back.
Leaving that dump.
Even it was Saturday and it was raining. I'm sorry if I'm going overtime right now.
No, you're good. We're almost done. Don't worry
We
about
have
it.
1,600 minutes, right?
1,600 minutes to go.
Like the day that I moved, it was torrential downpouring outside, and it was on Saturday.
Yeah.
This past Saturday.
Yeah.
Rain like crazy all
Oh, it was
fucking
bad,
day.
yeah.
Is nobody calling me? Sorry. I rented a car, got my stuff, dropped it off in Queens, drove back, dropped the car off. I was going to Grove Street Station.
Okay.
Which is on the PATH train, which is like 3 stops from Manhattan. It's
Yeah.
not far at all. Like 20-minute ride. There's like 100 EMTs and cops and fire department all over the place. They won't let anybody down into the subway station. And I see stretchers going down, and I'm like, oh, okay, somebody got hit by the train. There's body parts probably everywhere. And so they're like, you got to go to Exchange Place. Now, Exchange Place is the last subway station right before you get to Manhattan, if on the PATH train. And so, but me and everybody else that was at Grove Street went there. Train wasn't running. So now me and 1,000 angry people are waiting for a train that's not going to come.
Fuck.
So then me and 1,000 angry people all decide to see what Uber is going to do. So me and 1,000 angry people see Uber is now surge charging everything because we're all trying to go to Manhattan.
They're doubling down.
$20 cab ride turns into $190. And just
Holy
fucking
fuck. You guys
like,
should have started SantaCon.
free. Oh my god. Free market capitalism is alive and strong
And
in
thank God.
the country.
And thank God. Because if
Thank
not,
you.
where would
If
we
not,
be?
where would we be?
Yeah.
And so I decided to be like, hey, who wants to Uber pool? So me and 3 dudes Uber pooled back to Manhattan.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, Jersey is trying its damnedest to keep me here. It really wants me to stay. And I haven't wanted to stay for fucking years. Because every alcoholic single mom out there wants me to just stay here with her. It's awful. I fucking hate that place so much.
This guy could be, he could be good for my son.
Right? Yeah, there we go. Just keep him staying. Let him be a stepdad. No.
He looks like an actor in the 50s.
Oh, my God. All along the waterfront. That's who he reminds me
That's
of.
right.
Somebody in that movie.
I could have been a contender.
Oh, my God. But then I finally got it here, and I was like, you know what? I'm glad I'm here because you need, as an artist, you have to be around the creative chaos.
Yes.
You have to be, like, roll around in the mud with it. Every time I would go home to Jersey, it would just be like, I go home,
Normal shit.
go to sleep,
Yeah.
and, like, it's quiet.
Yeah.
It's quiet there. I would wake up, go to the gym, do laundry, maybe eke out a page or two writing at a coffee shop. But that was it. But, like, there was nothing else. There's no bustle.
There's no energy to feed off of.
But there's no, like, an odd sense of danger. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I'm here.
I should be doing shit. There's
Right?
there's things going on out there that I should be looking at and doing.
Exactly.
Like,
or you
yeah.
should be worried about because
Yes.
it's fucking dangerous out on the streets. But
Yes.
that's the point.
Right.
Like,
That's why people come here in the first
It's
place.
a hustle.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, it can be easy. It's easy to be comfortable in the suburbs. Or in New Jersey. It can be easy to be
That's why people go there.
And, like, I'm like, nah, I'm good. And, like, the silence keeps me up at night.
For sure.
So yeah, I prefer the danger, and I prefer the boroughs.
Yeah.
and I prefer the drones.
Yes.
I prefer the fake
We need the
birds
drones.
over no birds.
What are we
in New
going
Jersey.
to do without the drones?
Right.
Kyle, let's wrap this bitch up.
Okay, let's
This
wrap
is
it up.
fantastic.
Thank you.
This
for
was
having
so
me.
good, man.
Thank you for having me. I hope it
Next
wasn't
time-
too weird.
No, not at all. You'll come on again when you get that book out, or
Okay.
on the wings of getting it out. We can get some promotion for you.
That's what you did there.
See that? On the drone wings of getting it out.
I think that my title, the sequel the title of the book is called The Quiet Storm.
The Quiet Storm. Be on
And
the
I
lookout
was
for that.
thinking of the sequel would probably be called The Quiet Screaming. But it might just be called The Quiet Wings.
Sure.
Wings of a bird.
There you go. That don't exist. Where can people find you, Kyle?
People can find me
You're
on
Instagram.
I mean, I'm not on social media much. I'm on Facebook. But Instagram, my Instagram is grumble_armada. The grumble is also the name of what you call a pack of pugs.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
They are called a grumble.
Wow, like a gaggle of geese.
Exactly.
Sure.
Or like a flamboyant of flamingos.
Whoa, I didn't know that
Or
either.
a celebration of polar bears.
Interesting.
Or wait, that
You know all those.
I know it's weird. Yeah, I know. I know it's weird. See, now I'm getting weird. My account is private because I like my privacy. But please feel free, hit me up and let's get weird.
There you go. That's it, everybody. Thank you all so much for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Peace.
Thank you.